Second thing, just so we're all on the same page. My philosophy of soccer is this: it's like ice cream. Kevin, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Chocolate peanut butter.
Chocolate peanut butter. Okay, mine's chocolate chip cookie dough. It doesn't mean that we don't hate each other. It just means that we have a slight difference of opinion in terms of what ice cream should be, right? So what I'm going to show you is just my idea. You may think it's terrible, and that's okay. It doesn't hurt my feelings. You may like it. That doesn't hurt my feelings or help my feelings either way. But the whole idea is that the great thing about our sport is that there's many layers to it, and because of that, there's different ways to approach it. What I'm going to go through is a thing called differential learning. So some of the teachers that are here, you may recognize differential teaching. Differential learning, just real quick, is this. There were studies done in the 70s and 80s, and then in the former Soviet Union, and then it was transferred over to Germany and Mons, and then now what you're starting to see with Thomas Tuchel is kind of the advent, if you will, of what differential learning looks like in soccer. Real quick, differential learning basically is this. If I take a free throw and I practice 100 free throws from the same line all the time, okay, I don't have a comparison tool. But if all of a sudden I decide to go to the top of the key and take 10, move to the free throw line and take 10, then move to the left and take 10, then move to the right and take 10, studies show that players will actually be more successful executing. Simply because as human beings, the only thing that we know is when we compare things. So we don't know what value means until we compare. We don't know what successful skill looks like until we compare. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to set us up into different activities, okay, that are going to put us in scenarios, and we're going to, as coaches, we're going to try and figure out ways to solve them. So differential learning, the best way to define it is creating different problems for your players to solve, okay? So creating different problems for your players to solve. And as a coach, your job is to use the French method, which is to be a little bit more, if you will, observant and more question-oriented. So if you're not participating, I'm going to ask for 2 volunteers. How about this? Who's not going to participate on the field? Because if you're not, you're going to be coaching. How about that? So now you might want to play. Okay, I got Paul. Paul's the coach. Uh-oh. Who else is not going to play? So I need at least 2 coaches. Okay, Rich. Okay, so let's just do this. If we can, let's just head over to the field and we'll get going. Caleb, your team is going to be in.
The coaches should pick their team.
No. You're the captain.
They're the coaches.
Patrick, pick your team.
Hey, I was going to take everybody you didn't.
I'm observing.
So take your first 6.
I don't know. Let's see. Who's playing?
I'm playing coach.
Yep, blue and pink. Patrick,
Richard,
pick your team.
what team are you going to...
Now it's up to you. I need 6.
That's a
Or
vague
5 more.
answer.
I need 5 more.
You'll be on my team.
I get made fun of?
Caleb, you have the great job of having me.
Get in.
Switch teams now? Alright, I'm taking Mark then.
Richard.
I got Kevin.
I'm with Patrick. Paul's. Oh, okay. I like this.
And then
I need
we got
one.
Marvin. Right.
Patrick and Mark is like I can be the link on this team. I'm okay with it. No, I'm not. How many blues is that? How many do you have?
If we have 7,
one more.
7 works too. If we have more people that want to participate, we'll do 7. Okay? Patrick, you got your team?
I got my team.
Your team.
Who wants to play? I need 1 more. I'll play. feel like I've just been talking.
Does anybody have scissors or not? Well, this is coming off, so I'm coming off.
It might be illegal if you pull that all
Alright.
Put it around
Yeah, I
the
might
neck.
just go around my neck. Blue team over there to his right.
Hey, are we taking a piss here?
We are, yes.
No, Kieran, we're good. We're just like this. We're fine.
Pat, Stanley's here.
Stanley's playing. Come on, Stanley.
Boys! Hey, I see
Stanley
you
already
got look like
volunteered.
Kovacs' players.
We voted Stanley.
Oh, look at this.
We all on the
Look like
outside.
Kovacs' team.
445.
Somebody switch with me.
From
Don't give me this pity.
445 to 8 all of them asking for like 20.
Yeah, probably, yeah. So, like, I bought some yesterday and I'm like, I probably need to get some more.
Following, we can
Come
get
on
together.
in, closer, coaches, come on in closer.
Well, I wasn't
Stanley, you're not playing?
I was just sweating.
I got stuck there.
Broussard? Hey, come a little closer. Come a little closer. I have a soft voice. Okay, my coaches. Paul, you're going to coach we'll call it the pink team. Rich will coach the blue team. I'm going to get the warm-up going just to kind of get the flow. Okay, so just real quick, just so we're aware, we don't need the ball. Okay, what I want you to do, Caleb, set yourself up into I need 3 backs. Give me 2 midfielders, 1 forward. Okay, Patrick, set your team up in this. I want you to have 2 defenders. Okay, 3 midfielders. Okay, and what is that? 1 forward. Okay, and then everybody come in close to me so I can explain.
Looks like he's in the back.
Going that way.
Marcus is on 9.
Don't worry,
Okay,
Andy.
here's the game. Here's the game. We're going to play just as part of our warm-up to get used to each other. We're going to play that line of cones there to that first line of cones. The end line is there and the end line there. Okay, what we're going to do is this. The game is called the no-name ball. So there's an imaginary ball. In order to pass the ball, you got to yell someone's name. Here. Here's got the ball. Pass the ball. Louis got the ball. Okay, good. The way you score is you have to have possession of the ball and you got to run it over the blue line over there. The way you intercept is you tag their name. You tag them before they can say a name. Okay? You have to tag them before they can say a name. Every time the ball goes out of bounds, and it will go out of bounds, and every time you score, I always reset the ball. Okay? So I'm the referee. Everyone follow me? We're going to practice for 2 minutes, and then we're going to compete. Ready? Roger's got the ball.
Patrick. Yeah. Kevin.
Yeah, Marcus.
He lost it.
Come in.
Oh, yeah. Go deep. Go deep. Caleb. Go.
Okay, Caleb's got the point. Ready? Daryl, play.
Hey, come on, Darryl. Look, Marcus. We have.
Oh, well done. That's a good little head fake there, Daryl. Hey, Blue, let's make sure. Hey, Blue, don't get ball watching.
I tagged her. I'm standing up here.
Caleb, play.
Louis. Louis.
What? Caleb.
How about Louis? Karen. Malene.
Oh! Patrick, play. Patrick.
Yeah, Kevin.
Yeah, Rod.
Kevin. Now, hey, get. Hey.
Oh, I'm marking Daryl Jones.
Ah, Louis got it. Louis got it. Quick counter.
Malene. Louis.
Go, Daryl.
Kevin.
Intercepted.
Nope. Okay, and hold. Any questions? Any questions? If you need to take a stretch, take a stretch.
When's the fast water
stretch?
Water's only 95 years ago, man. Okay, so just a slight change. So make it start thinking a little bit. What I like is this. Every time the ball is on one side of the field, can you play it backwards and swing it? Okay, so to help us out, Stanley, can you grab me a purple vest and an orange vest? Or green is fine. Thank you. So Daryl, what I want is this. You're gonna put the green over top of your pink. Okay, so Daryl's your pivot player. Okay, so when the ball goes to one side, can we find Daryl to swing it? Louis gonna put that over top, Louis gonna be the pivot player. So what we're looking for now is this. Can we find the pivot player to help us switch fields? Does that make sense? Okay? You don't have to, but if we're successful in it, okay, I'll give you an extra point. Is that fair? Okay, are we ready? Roger, you got the ball.
DJ, turn.
Ready.
DJ.
Yeah, swing it down.
Marcus, Kevin.
Oh, Marcus.
Marcus.
You got him.
Got it, go, Malik.
Yeah. She never know yet.
Kieran. Hey, Malin. Yeah, come back. Kieran.
Offsides.
What's the BIR?
You have two.
Offsides. So my first point is this. It's not a bad choice, but if we notice that the pink team was already back, we had played the ball to Louis and pivot out. Right? So, hey, let's start to see if we can recognize when we can pivot the ball. Ready? Kevin, play.
Daryl.
Yeah, you got me underneath.
Yeah, Roger.
Yeah, Rio.
Hey, Roger.
Yeah, Kevin.
Oh, look at that! Speedy Gonzalez.
He's in.
Coleman, play.
He's in. Oh, I got it. Here. Hey. Yeah, Alex.
Hey, Kevin.
Good. And hold. I just want us to notice this real quick. Already, if we notice the shape that the Blues set up, 2 more steps back, Alex, right? What's Louis doing? He's playing more centrally and he's trying to divide the field into twos. So it makes it easy for him to pivot, right? So that's kind of what we're looking for if we can achieve that. Okay, are we ready? Play, Caleb.
Go, Mets. Louis.
Louis.
Yep, go, Mets. Caleb. Go deep, Caleb. Keep it. Yep, go. Turn. Go.
Change over. Play, Daryl.
Go. Roger. Oh, no, who had it?
Good. Okay. Let's catch our breath. One more stretch. So we're done. One more stretch. Yep.
Where'd you get those wagon wheels from? Huh? You got speed from?
Okay, so let's just come on over. We'll debrief a little bit here. Okay, so those that participated, let's give them a round of applause. Just a simple warm-up activity, okay? Any thoughts from those that participated? Okay, it was fun? Why was it fun?
Is it, you're still doing soccer related, but it wasn't like that pressure of the ball and everything, just relaxing stuff?
Okay, good.
It's definitely different than what we would normally do in a soccer practice.
Yep.
I think it'd be a good change of pace for the kids to do that.
Now, one of the problems we have is always communication, isn't it? I mean, let's be honest. I don't care what level we coach at. The communication starts at 0. Yeah. And for me, speed of play, just so we're all on the same page, speed of play besides technical ability, right, and tactical nuances is communication, right? Soccer's about, if you will, time and space. So in order for me to have time and space when Roger has the ball, I need to position myself, but I also need to communicate to Roger, right? The sooner I communicate to him, the easier it is for him, and the easier it is for my team, okay? Now, we added a layer. When I made Louis and Daryl as, pivot players, I didn't force you to pivot, but what did we naturally start to see for the blue team? Exactly. As Louis started to drop back and become more, if you will, let's call it a 6, right? What happened? The blue started to get wider, right? And so now all of a sudden, naturally, he almost automatically sets himself up as a pivot player. Daryl, what about you? For the pink team. Position-wise.
We were very direct.
Correct. Very direct. Very direct. So, exactly. But it was successful, wasn't it, Roger? It was. Okay. So hey, there's two ways to play the pivot player. Louis is more short. Daryl was much more direct, right? When you got the ball, your first look was to go forward. Like we talked about ice cream over there. Every way is the right way to some degree. Make sense? Okay, so now we're just going to change it a little bit. We're going to change it. So let's come out to the field here. And if I can get the coaches to help me out, can I get some balls on the center blue cone there? Some balls on the center blue cone. And then I'm going to set up the game, and then I'm going to have Coach Rich and Coach Paul do some of the coaching. Okay, so same setup, same shape, guys. Same shape as we can. Same exact shape. So, Patrick, same shape. 2, 3, 1, pink going this way. It's 3, 2, 1 going this way. Okay. Yeah, that cone where Paul's playing. That cone. Yep, we're going to play here to start. Okay? So, let me explain the width. So, coaches, you can come on in. Start off narrow. So one of the things Thomas Tuchel does when he was at Dortmund and Mons, he never played 11-11 full field. In fact, he would always play in smaller spaces, because it created more scenarios that he wanted to achieve. Okay, and it also improves the technical ability and efficiency. So we're going to start off small, and then we'll get big. So here's the activity. Okay, the field is split into 3 zones. The blues to this yellow cone. Okay, yellow to yellow, where Coach Rich is standing, and then yellow to blue. Everybody sees that? Yes. Okay, here are the rules. You score by dribbling over the end line. Okay? The rules are this. Every time the ball goes out of bounds and it's your ball, Daryl, you start from the back. Okay? Or you start from the back, Caleb. You cannot dribble into the next zone. You can only pass into the next zone. Okay, everyone follow me? So if you dribble, it's a foul, and it's the other team's ball. So you must pass into the next zone. Everyone follow.
Right. Can you bypass the zone?
No, you cannot. But I like the way you're thinking. Are we ready? Do we need a center cone? I thought I'd take it out just so we'd have room to play. You good? Okay, let's see how it looks for 2 minutes. Ready? Play, Roger. Play.
Man on. Hey. Look, this is
I press Louis.
Turn. Oh, shit. Come on.
You got time. Good.
Go ahead. Come inside.
Split. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Yep.
And we start again.
I can stay high.
Yep. All sides still apply, though.
Yes, Kevin.
Drop.
You get back to the next zone.
Daryl.
Good, Daryl.
Just
read it.
Yeah. Just look. Hey, slide. Keep him soft. Don't let him in.
And hold. Give it back to Kovic. Okay, so coaches, give me another solution. Stanley, give me another solution.
As opposed to going backward, as opposed to finding Kobe.
Well, he just lost the ball, so any solution is better than losing the ball.
I would just break pressure and just find Caleb. Have Caleb step.
Yep, Caleb. So cheat into the zone. Right? Cheat into the zone. Okay? And then now let's see if we can keep possession here, right, Kovic? Ready? Play. Good. Now you got to pass out of it. You can't dribble over. Swing it back again. Now come here, Mary. That's it. Good. And again, good. There's our pivot. Right there. That we just worked on. Good. And hold. Give it back to Patrick. And through there, or right there. Patrick right in front of here. Okay, and let's ask ourselves a question to the coaches again. Okay, we know we can't dribble into the next zone, so in order for us to get out, what do we think we need? Exactly. So let's just take a look at the options forward. Okay. Maybe that's a good one, right? But how can we readjust to Pink? If you notice, Pink sits back, right, Roger? Roger, he has told his team to absorb pressure. Okay, and then we're going to counterattack. But right now, we're missing a solution. We're missing a solution. Stanley's got it. So who can give us a true center option? Get as high as you can into Alex. There you go. There you go. If you can play in between Louis and Kovitz, so maybe 3 more steps to your left, I think the first ball and get up to the line. Get up to the line because we can't skip zone. Good. I think there's an outlet. And then now Daryl, I think you come in here, you get wider and higher so that now it's 1 option or 2 to keep possession as safety. Okay? So let's just, ready? First option, you're going to play to Daryl on the run. Rehand. You're going to get wide first and go forward. Okay? Don't be offsides and out. And we're going to stop when you get the ball. Ready? Go. Come on back. Come on back. Come on back. Come on back. Blue, stand still.
Lano, you were on the line. Can't you see that?
You said freeze. It's,
I did.
Richard's eyes painted on.
Ready? Up. Will you stand still? Daryl, get it?
Yeah.
Good. And freeze. There we go. Now we have a 3 versus 1. Come on back.
Oh, I got that. That's
You're coming.
Okay. Option 2 is to get it. If Alex is that deep, and do what? Yep, turn left. Okay? Blue, don't move until I drop my hand. Go. Play. Maybe don't forget the ball, though. Stay there, Alex. Stay there. Good, Kovitz. Almost, though. It almost worked out, Patrick. Caleb, start with it.
That's right.
And hold. And hold. One other question. The big thing to me is always about shape. Let's help the blue team get out. How can we help the blue team get out? Stay there, Marlene. Think about what we did earlier here with the pivot player, right? With the no name. Okay? So I think there's one solution that may help us to get out. I think our starting position from the back here was wrong. Alex, you get as wide as you can, okay? And Caleb, get the ball again. Good. I think my man Louis gets in the middle here. And this is the shape because now look, it's going to allow Malene, right? A little bit more height. It's going to force her to make a choice. She's either going to come in or go there. Either one, we're going to have a way out. And as this happens here, you're going to slide more centrally this way to your left. Okay? So I think if we can play the ball across to Alex, and as you press, Louis gets the ball and he's able to turn his hips, we have an outlet ball on the opposite side of the pivot. So let's just see how that looks. Orange, you stand still. Sorry, pink, stand still. Ready, into Alex. Louis comes in, and he pivots on the ball, on the turn. Boom, and freeze. Boom, boom. Easy, Steezy. Right? This is part of the problem we have with players. Everybody thinks they can go forward. There's a word. There's a word. It's called discipline. We don't need. Remember, Roger's game plan is absorb pressure and counterattack.
Oh yeah.
Okay? But look how this is set up now. Kovitz, 2 more steps that way. Good. I think we can easily potentially break them down. in this setup. Okay, in this setup. Okay, all the way back to Caleb. We're live when Louis gets the ball. Okay, ready into Alex. Good. Into Louis. And play.
Oh!
Come back, come back. Good effort, start again, Alex. New ball.
That's a heavy touch, that's a tackle, that. Second touch.
Go, Caleb, play.
I'll tell you what, the communication. Hey, relax, he's new here.
Can I get a couple of signings?
First one. First one.
I need a recovery.
No one's back there with me.
From there, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, good sword player.
Just be patient, just be patient, Caleb, just be patient.
Get it. Bounce it. Yeah. Go off, get off. Get off.
You're good, Caleb.
Somebody drop in as pivot. Somebody drop in.
How? Hold, Caleb. I'm gonna save you.
Please do.
Just because I like.
My coach isn't helping me out at all.
I have a bald spot now where my hair
I'm gonna
used to be.
introduce something that I think is important, but we always forget sometimes. I call it the extra pass. The extra pass. We pass the ball to move the other team. We don't pass the ball for any other reason. We move the other team. By moving the other team, then we can penetrate. So, Louis plays me the ball. Kevin, you come to me. Yep, boom. I play Louis again. And then maybe he plays me again as I drop in. Keep coming, Kevin.
Well, I'm not recovering.
And then watch. If he plays me again, and then I play Louis, we're out.
You are definitely.
Right? Or if Kevin doesn't come with me, okay? So Louis plays me and he plays it back to me. Now, good Alex. Alex makes the run, and if need be, I can always go a little bit long to Kieran, or I have Kovitz here to get out. But this extra pass, I gotta move Kevin. If I can move Kevin, I can play Kieran. If I can move Kevin, I can play Alex. Okay? So the extra pass, boom.
The problem with this is that I'll move.
Boom. And just by being deep, okay? I'm all set. So watch again. Ready? Kovac, jump and play back. Good. And then now, look at the movement that we have. Okay?
Then I don't get the Kevin for the other team.
Yeah, there's always one. Let's go, play. See if we can find the pivot play and extra pass him if you can.
Yep.
Good. And pass it back. There you go. Stay there, Kovac. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there. Good. There you go. Stay again. Stay again. And then now we can swing it. There we go. Good. That, almost, Malene. We're not ready to go forward, Daryl. Go back, Daryl. Patience. We're impatient. We're impatient. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there and help him. Stay there and help him. Good. There you go. Good. Now stay. You become the pivot guy. Good. Open. Good. We're not ready. Look how they dropped off. And freeze. Great run, Roger. But notice, look, we're not ready. Why are we not ready to go forward?
They're set, Roger.
They're set. So this is why this extra pass I just showed over there helps us. Move. We don't just have to move Malene now. We gotta try and figure out a way to move Louis. Right? We gotta move Louis. So it's boom, boom, and then maybe as the ball goes to Patrick on the second pass, Malene can go, and then maybe Louis goes, and now Kevin is here.
Doing a great job, Kevin.
And then as he goes and gets the ball, if he opens, catch your breath.
I'm good.
Roger, where you were, makes 100% more sense. Okay? So we're a little over anxious to go forward. A little over anxious to go forward. Okay?
there it is.
Let's go. Come on in.
Bro,
Come on
one
in.
more time.
Come on in. Come on in. Come on in.
I got. I'm tight from your own.
Something going on right there.
Okay, so let's ask ourselves question one. Why the 3 zones? Why the 3 zones?
Spatial.
Okay, good. Gives us some spatial awareness. What's it also help out on?
You're forcing us to build and connect versus going direct.
Exactly, exactly. Everyone talks about building all the time, and sometimes patterns are good, but now we can kind of execute more in a game-like atmosphere. You know, by restricting the dribble from the zones, you're forcing the other players in front to do what, Patrick? Move. And so for me, again, my flavor of ice cream is I'm a huge fan of the pivot player. That's how I like to build. My teams don't always do that. But that's the way I like to build. I like to build out of one pivot player just because, again, that's my flavor of ice cream. You know, that's my flavor of ice cream. If we wanted to skip zones, that was the question, right? If we wanted to skip zones, right? Same thing, same thing. Instead of the pivot player being deep, now we have a target player, right? But we still need someone to lay the ball off to. And that's a challenge. That's a challenge, okay? Caleb, what'd you think? What'd you think?
Thought it was a lot of running. I liked it though.
Just a lot of running?
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought it was good helping people understand movement because I know I have a lot of trouble getting my kids to understand when and where to move off the ball.
Yep, and I'll just reemphasize. Sometimes movement, we think movement is just what? Just running forward. If you notice some of the movement that we worked on here with Alex, Louie, Caleb, and then Malene was just 1 or 2 steps. Just 1 or 2 steps. Okay, and sometimes that's the best way for us to keep possession. Okay, so the next activity, can I get to the 4 poles? Can someone grab me 4 poles? We're gonna set up, we're gonna use the big field. Okay, so if you need a quick sip of water, feel free. And then I'm gonna set it up and then I'll explain it. Ice cream. Okay, so here are the rules, Roger. We're playing the entire width and the entire length. Okay? When the ball goes out of bounds, you go get it off your own end. Again, so the idea of building, here are the rules though. See this box that I'm in? No one's allowed in it. You gotta play around it. You can play through it, but you cannot be in it. Okay? So let's think about again, you know, just a hint. The pivot player's positioning is going to have to be probably maybe a little bit deeper than before, okay? But any ball that is received in this box is a foul. You can run through it, but you cannot play a ball in this zone here, Daryl.
You just can't collect the ball.
You can't play a ball in here. Yes, you cannot collect it. You cannot touch it.
Play through it here.
You can play through it. Everyone follow?
No one can have the ball.
Yes, it's just like coaching my team.
Let's
Are there,
think
how many more
about 6
questions do we
different
want?
ways we can ask the same thing.
Okay,
Brian,
again,
is
we're
there
going
a
to start
reason
off.
we're using the poles and not cones?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't run into the poles, Kevin.
Okay, so coach, I'm going to ask you to just step out
Karen, don't go inside
a little bit wider. So if you notice the field's bigger, okay? But it's really
Not be a recipient of the ball inside of that.
So why are we using different colored cones at the end?
I think it plays into the aesthetics of the exercise. And honestly, I don't think the exercise would be the same without it. That's my humble opinion.
Don't worry about the zone.
defend in there.
It's all just the
Wouldn't be
center
the same
zone
without
here,
it.
right here, Roger. Ready? Roger, play. Score the same way. If you can't go forward, come back. Hey. Hey, and hold. Look at all this shape here. So, just right away.
So
We're avoiding this area, which is fine, but if we lose the ball,
He's off. I'm not offside. He's on his half. I'm on side.
we're exposed. I know he's offside, but we're exposed. So we got to think about that. Right now we have what we call Caleb syndrome. Everybody wants to go forward, right? Let's go, play. Get back. All the way.
Kieran, work harder up there.
Whoa, send him for a hot dog then.
Stay there, Daryl. Stay there. Keep Roger help.
He was not making that weak shot.
Should be one. Close him. Drop off. Drop off. It's on this corner here. Just knock it. You got Kevin. You got Kevin.
Got a dribble across, but I like the idea, Daryl.
We thought it was
Okay, so coaches, just coming a little bit closer. Keep playing. So, what's the square do in the middle? The no play zone. What's it do? Well, he doesn't have to run around. He can run through it.
We'll run through it. You can receive it, not
Play wider. It still forces them to use the space. Play wider.
Yeah, force them to play wider. What's one of the hurdles that they're having? How fast are they switching fields?
Well, it's slow, but also once they play wide here, but once they get into what considered their attacking third, they get super compact.
They compress it. So we have teams that struggle with switching the fields and stuff like that. So the same idea, okay, is if we had a younger team, maybe the field's smaller and the no play zone is smaller. But what we can do is maybe this: play into Kevin, get it back, and can we play that diagonal ball maybe into our patches, right? So here, we're closing ourselves down. Turn. Now play it back, Kevin. Play it back. Play it back and recycle. Now look at Patrick. Quick. But if we could play it in front of him, right? Or if Patrick got on his horse and got on the outside corner of the lead, maybe that's a diagonal ball that's popped in the air. Right?
There it is.
Yes, Kevin.
I saw it, Kevin.
Also to see if we can switch the field faster.
We'll have to go back and look at it.
Yeah, Caleb.
just move it.
Saw it.
Yes. Yeah, there's no doubt. So we're not working on the defensive side. We're just working on right now the attacking side to see if they can switch the field a little bit faster. To see how we get the pivot player. For me, the pivot player has to be if we can, we want them to play.
Relax it, hold it, hold it.
If we're successful. So
Kevin.
also, I would argue Maline's too high right now.
Boy, that's the right idea. Pass it across. That's the right idea.
That would have been easy. And hold. So let's just see this. Let's just watch. I'm gonna be Kevin for a minute. Can we try this? Stay there, Daryl. Two options. I play it in here, you play it back to me, and as this ball comes back, can we start to shape my body up and shape the team up for this diagonal? Whether it's rehab coming in and Patrick getting around, right? And if I don't feel comfortable, what can I do?
Play it again.
I can play it to you, Daryl, and then you can play the ball. But in order for this to happen, I got to see if I can move Louis a little bit, but more importantly, can I get Alex to maybe think that he can cheat inside, right? So if I play it in here, if Alex does just a slight movement to his right side, boom, right away. If not, then maybe the pass is here. Watch, ready? And Daryl, if Alex doesn't move, you can play it back to me. And then now Patrick and then now I'm on the passer. Okay? So let's just see if we can. If the option arises, can we play it on one side of the field and look to swing it, okay, through the no-play zone faster. Okay? Ready? Let's go. Play.
Play dire. Play dire. Hey, man on.
Split.
Dire. Drop down. Oh my God.
Patrick. Slow us back down. They all step back, right? We'll move them out of that position.
Yeah.
There you go. No, Caleb. Good. Good. Now stay there, Daryl. Look at Daryl's again. Use Daryl's again. Get an extra pass in. Good. And then look at Roger. We're not ready yet. Good. Now look at Daryl or Patrick. There you go. That's better. So one of the other things too, it works on the discipline of, if you will, your pivot player, right? We struggle, I think, having what I would call proper defense. They all like 8 or 10s, don't they? They like to go forward as much as possible. Now, one thing you could do, if let's just say the diagonal ball is too much for them, you can make the nose zone smaller. But one of the things I would say is this. To me, the reason I like the no-play zone is one of the things that we struggled with, and when I say we, my team struggled with, is a lot of players like to play square balls across the middle. So if Coach and I are midfielders and I'm the 6 and she's the 8, we like to play these square balls. And the problem with those square balls in the middle of the field, they're easy to pick off, right? So by having a no-play zone, I get the ball behind the zone, she has to move no matter what. I can still play it through the zone, but instead of her being flat to me, most likely she's going to be on a slight angle to me. So the size of the no-play zone can help you dictate whether you want longer diagonals, right? Or you can actually use it to help dictate the shape of your midfield 3 if you play with midfield 3s. Or if you play with midfield 2s. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So we can make it smaller and we might be able to find. For me, one of the big issues here is the speed. If you notice blue, well, we don't want to pick on Caleb, but they're just almost too ambitious to go forward too quickly, right? And then I can tell you, in my division, if you go forward too quickly and lose the ball, you might as well just give the other team a goal. Because now you get counterattack, kind of like your question before. Yeah. But yep.
What are you talking about? All we do is go forward. I would do that with sports.
Okay, and time. Come on in. Okay, so let's just start off with the blue team. So how did you like the no-play zone?
You have to adjust.
Yep, we have to adjust. What do we have to adjust to?
Space.
Yeah. Space, positioning.
Yeah, exactly. Say that again, Roger.
Where the switch comes from.
Where the switch comes from, right? Before, in the earlier activities, a pivot player could pretty much be where he or she wanted to be, high or low, right? For me, I like my pivot player, as I was telling coaches over here, just a little bit deeper, because I like them not only to be able to see the entire field, whether it's a diagonal 45 or the 9 or or a flatter ball, if you will, to the wide defender, but also if we lose the ball, he or she's there. So we always have 3 in the center of the field. Okay? So as we were talking over here, you can make the no-play zone smaller, right? Or you can make it bigger depending on the ability to play a diagonal ball. Fake, what do we think of the no-play zone?
Slows you down.
Why does it slow you down?
You don't have
Did
quite
it
as
slow
many
you
options
down
to
or
go
just
for.
everybody else?
I noticed no
You know why? I'll tell you what, I would say this, and I like Daryl, but I think it slowed you down because Daryl's not a 6, is he? are you? He likes to go forward. And so the no play zone forces him to say, shit, I can't go forward. Right? I either have to go back or go to the side. If anyone remembers when the U.S. national team, Michael Bradley would play as a 6. If you remember, he never played deep. He always kind of popped out wide to the side to help us build. Some people liked that, some people didn't. But part of it is because, you know, he wasn't a sitting 6. He's actually more of an 8. And so you kind of fell into that same kind of category. Not to say that's good or bad, but you don't like to sit. So by you not sitting, what's it do? It makes the game more challenging for you because you got to find a different angle of approach, right? We were talking before, if you make the no play zone, right, and you play, if you could play this game, if you will, say 9 versus 9, and you focused on your 3 midfielders, the 3 midfielders now, if I'm the 6, she's an 8 and Roger's a 10, now our shape has to be, if you will, much more disciplined, right? Because I'm going to have to play behind the zone. Roger's probably going to have to play on one side of the zone, right? And coach is going to have to play on the other side of the zone. So you almost get that disciplined triangle that people always talk about. Does that make sense? Because we can't play like this. Why? Yep. And what else? Say that again? Yeah, it's too easy to defend when we play flat, but also how can we switch the ball? You said it before, right? You said it before. Our solution out there to switch the ball was to try and play shorter balls. And it's not a bad solution, right? But what we notice in this field with the no zone is we can't play through the middle, so we have to skip a player. Does that make sense? So the one moment I used with Kevin, I played in the Dwyer, I get it back. Can I skip it and maybe play it into Patrick or Coach? Or do I use Daryl again, right, to help me skip it all the way across? So the no play zone can be big or small depending on what you want to achieve. Roger.
I was going to say, one of the big things that I notice is it shows you how much you can use your center backs, but we never really use them for like the switch. They're always on, you know, for the most part, unless the team's playing with 2.
Yep.
But like we always want to go this way, you know.
That's a great point, because a lot of our center backs, they either want to go forward or what? They just want to play to the other center back. And Rogers, that's a great point, because sometimes, especially when we're around the half line, that center back, if he or she can knock the ball right on that diagonal, that's a great way to get forward right away. So, yeah, great point, great observation.
One thing I noticed, but I liked a lot, was I was playing the 9, but I rarely stayed there and also transitioned back to defense, depending on like right? You needed cover, stuff like that. Called out. Well, everybody did. I'm at a wall. But for my midfielders and my players to transition from allowing the outside backs to make those runs forward, but a midfielder dropping in covering and not positional awareness of being stuck in midfield the whole game.
Yeah, I never thought of that, but that's a great way. You know, you could also use the zone to help train the 9, right? Because that way we skip through the free zone, but then where are the midfielders out? The midfielders that get the layoff, right? Where are the midfielders that get the layoff? So, great point, great point. Any other thoughts? So, one of the things, just to give you an idea, to wrap it all up. So, in terms of differential learning, you set up all different types of scenarios like this, okay? And what you do in terms of your, if you will, we'll call it translation of information, is you come in and you show them a solution. Just one solution. And you just see if they can achieve it, right? And then if it's working out, or maybe they found another solution, okay, then you let them, okay? Then you let them kind of run through it. But if you see that you're not achieving what you want, instead of, you know, I guess let's call it the traditional method, you show them a quick pattern. So for example, Thomas Tuchel, he does a pattern, he'll do it 3 times in this activity, and then he sets back. And then he lets us see if they can do it again, okay? So the whole idea is to create scenarios, right? But the scenarios really are set up by what you do. So could we play this zone here? Could we move it somewhere else? As an example, one of the things that he does is he takes that entire zone and he puts it on the entire side of the field. And he says, you can't attack that side of the field at all. And he forces his right backs or midfielders, whatever you want to call it, to learn how to manage smaller spaces. So if you can imagine this field basically split down from those blue cones there, Roger, and no one's allowed in that zone at all, okay? No one. He does another activity where he takes a line of cones and he makes a big C. And basically he uses the C because what he's trying to teach his team is just another scenario, right? He's trying to teach his defenders maybe how to defend, or his attackers on how to change the point of attack because the field's too tight. So all I wanted to just show and get across to people is that there's different scenarios out there. Sometimes the game can be the best teacher. It's just our job is to set up the different games for them to teach them, if that makes sense. So hopefully everybody enjoyed it. I don't know who lost. Blue. Yeah.
We were keeping track.
Any questions? Any thoughts?
So Brian, I thought that was really good. I guess I got one question. So you noticed whenever they were moving the ball, it did get kind of congested high, right? They got really compact when they were trying to expand. But just like Roger said, defensively, they were using the center backs well to switch and that sort of thing. How would you coach, or how would you navigate the challenge, or would you just use the game and just let them solve it, or how would you address the fact that really, as soon as they got into, the third, it just got really compact?
Well, two things. I would address it this way. So if I was to turn around and we're going this way, and we're caught, I think it's two reasons that happened. One, our speed of play was way too slow. So we're almost too nice to our teammates, and we're playing what I would call balls that are just kind of like rolling in. The ball speed at which we play had to be faster, number one. But number two, we weren't skipping enough players. So if the ball was being skipped, say Kovac was skipping me and was playing the ball to Roger, I bet you Roger could have scored. The other solution to me, Stanley, and maybe this is me, but one of the things I think is a big failing, again, my ice cream, a big failing is, let me have the ball, Daryl. I'm a midfielder, and I'm just on this edge of the zone here. Roger, you stay there, everybody else just kind of move this way. One of the big failings is this, and if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I can just go off of what I've learned. Roger and I are on the same team. I'm an 8, okay? I'm an 8, or maybe I'm the pivot player, Alex. It doesn't matter. I play the ball to Roger, and just do me a favor, Daryl, get on the other shoulder of Dwyer, and you're just going to go and pressure him, and just hold the ball, Roger. How many of us have midfielders that do this? How many? Let me have the ball back. It's funny because all we talk about for the last 10 years is how Barcelona played and everything, right? And yet, I tell you what, it hasn't translated to very many teams, especially in our country. How about this? How about I get my midfielders to help? I'm a firm believer that my 8 and 6 should be somewhat behind the ball. Again, that's my flavor of ice cream. So we do the same thing, Daryl. Ready? And Roger, play back to me. Or, right? Why? Roger passed the ball to do what? Why did he pass the ball?
Player.
Did you say that again, Stanley?
To move the player.
To move him. And then he also moved the center back, didn't he? And he probably moved the wide back, and we didn't know it. Because the wide back did what? He cheated in, boom, I'm out. So to go to your question, that's how I would solve it, Stanley. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of my midfielders getting the ball and going helping. But I think it's a challenge. You're right. It's a great observation, but that's my solution. I don't know if that's the right solution, but watching our teams play, our midfielder plays the ball, and their job is either done or they're ready to receive it at the goal, rather than be a midfielder, right? Get it back from Roger and see if we can develop the play a little bit. So, does that help?
That does a lot, yeah.
The cabin lights. Yeah, I know. So they're going on for 20 minutes.
Any other questions? Well, thank you very much. I appreciate everybody's time. If we can get